Hello everyone and welcome to Anthroholic. This is Ashima Shukla, and in today's video we are going to talk about the nature of culture. This is topic 2.1 of anthropology, and we are going to go through a crisp understanding of this particular topic. But if you want to go and understand the topic in detail, you will have to avail our course of anthropology, for which the link is in the description below. Okay, before we begin now, every person considers that they are unique. Every person is like, we have a separate thoughts, our actions, our preferences, where we want to sit, the kind of people we want to sit with, the kind of behavior we want to enforce, the kind of actions we want to do and promote. So everyone considers themselves as unique. Every human being considers themselves as unique because every person has their own thought process, their own action process, and their preferences. But as a society, there are certain common values and common behaviors that are also there. The moral values, you can say, the general behavior of how a person should behave and talk and be present. तो हर किसी का, वैसे हर किसी का अपना एक खुद का कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होता है, अपने खुद के थॉट्स होते हैं, अपने खुद के प्रेफरेंसेस होते हैं, लेकिन जब एक सोसाइटी में रहते हैं तो कुछ चीजें कॉमन भी होती हैं, कॉमन मॉरल वैल्यूज या बिहेवियर्स विच आर एक्सेप्टेड बाय द सोसाइटी. So these shared pattern of living which is there, the kind which is common to the society, which is commonly accepted by the society, that kind of commonness defines a culture. So a system of norms and behaviors that guide the social interactions of a particular group or a society can be used to define the culture of that particular society. The anthropological approach to understanding of this humanity, this culture, it began with comparing these different cultures. Now, what cultures are we talking about? कि जो हर सोसाइटी का अपना एक अलग अलग कल्चर है, बट इट इज कॉमन इन दैट पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप. वो कॉमन वैल्यूज है, वो कॉमन बिहेवियर्स है. तो वो जो कॉमननेस है, दैट इज व्हाट वी कॉल एज कल्चर. एंड how anthropology approached towards this idea of culture was by trying to understand different cultures that are formed, different societies which have different cultures, and understanding of those cultures is where anthropology comes into picture. The understanding of culture in anthropology comes into picture. So now you know, अब आपको एक idea है कि हम culture जब बोल रहे हैं, when I'm talking about culture, what am I referring to? It is not all over the globe, it is in that particular group of people, right? Now culture refers to a set of learned behaviors, beliefs, values, attitudes and ideals that define a particular group or a society. तो as I told you, कुछ चीजें जो कॉमन होती हैं, जो उस सोसाइटी ने अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस से सीखी है, एनफोर्स करी है, दैट इज व्हाट वी आर रेफरिंग टू व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कल्चर इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो. Now it is a foundational concept, okay, and there are multiple subfields to it to understanding it deeper. Now, unlike the everyday understanding of culture like fine arts or refined behavior or any other thing that is the everyday understanding topics which are there, anthropology ke andar what we see, we view culture as all aspects of life. So the complex aspects of life, the simple aspects of life, the learned behaviors, the accustomed behaviors, we take everything, we take a holistic view of everything when we are talking about culture in anthropology. Okay, so anthropology is not about only fine arts or only refined behavior or only values or only ideals or only attitudes. It is about both complex situations also, as well as simplicity of that particular community as well. It encompasses everything that is possible. Okay, because we are taking a holistic view of multiple cultures. Now, when anything comes into picture, we know that there are certain definitions that must have been there, certain people must have been there who had brought this idea forefront. So the idea of culture was first defined by British anthropologist E.B. Tylor, that is Edward Burnett Tylor, and he stated that complex whole, which includes knowledge, beliefs, art, law, morals, customs, and all the other capabilities and habits which are acquired by man as a member of society, is culture. तो एक आदमी ने, एक इंसान ने, एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग जो भी गैदर किया है अपने पूरे एक्सपीरियंस में एज अ पार्ट ऑफ द सोसाइटी, which includes everything: how you sit, how you talk, the knowledge that you have gained, the morals that have been shared with you, the art that you are living in, the art that is present, the art you are following, the art you are making, the beliefs that the society holds, everything is a part of culture. And he studied this in his work Primitive Culture, laying a foundational understanding of culture for anthropology. But he's not the only one. He's the one who laid the foundation for culture. After that, we had Radcliffe Brown also, who described culture as functional system. So it is a structured social order that maintains the harmony of society, the equilibrium of society. So Radcliffe Brown, he made this concept of culture and described it as more of a functional system. यानी society function ही इससे कर रही है. यानी the harmony and equilibrium that is in society is dependent on culture. Then there was Robert Redfield, who highlighted the symbolic nature of culture. So he defined that as a shared system of meanings which is expressed using symbols or using any form of language. So whatever expressions are there, that is what Robert Redfield brought. So we have three different people who have given definitions. Edward Burnett Tylor, or E.B. Tylor, who laid the foundation; Radcliffe Brown, who laid the foundation for functional system or defined culture as functional system; and Robert Redfield, who defined it as a symbolic nature of culture. And then there was one more person, that is Bidney. I'll just mention it separately over here. Then there was Bidney. Bidney was the one who stressed on the behavioral aspect of culture. So we have behavioral aspect as well, and that aspect, so we have functional, we have symbolic, we have foundation, then we have behavioral aspect also. That is how the culture shapes rational and non-rational human actions. So the values and habits which are there of humans, how are they influenced by culture? That was done by Bidney. These are the four important definitions that you must be knowing. Now, before we proceed, let's have a look. Now, when we are going through this topic, we must know what kind of questions are there that have come in the past, in the previous papers, regarding the nature of culture topic. Okay, so we have William Oakberg and cultural lag. Then there was a question which was on the historical and cultural context that lead to superseding and ethnocentrism with cultural relativism. Now here there are two topics that are compared, and you have to know about both the topics to be able to write. This is how the questions are going to come. It is not going to come as a simple culture topic. It is going to come in relative form, like human rights and cultural relativism. Cultural relativism, short notes on cultural relativism. Then we have is culture unique to human beings? This we are going to discuss in today's video. Also a brief understanding I will be telling you about why culture is unique to human beings, but it is a critical examination, so you will have to delve deeper into that. Then why the concept of cultural relativism has been so dear to anthropologists. Again, about cultural relativism is going to be there. Then there is bring out the distinguishing features of culture and civilization. Moreover, to the other questions, we have the pattern of culture, superorganic view of culture, cultural trait and culture complex, components of culture, Acculturation and contra, culture as construct or reality, how does culture differ from civilization, the attributes of culture. These are a few different aspects or ways in which the cultural relativism and the concept of culture is asked, where you might have to talk about culture with respect to ethnocentric approach as well. There are two questions that we have seen so far where ethnocentrism and culture have been taken together in question. So you cannot be taking only single individual this topic, but this topic you can see is very important considering the amount of questions we have with respect to culture being asked in the questions. So a brief understanding of this is very, very important, right? All right, now we take a brief look at the types of culture. Now, in this particular discussion, we will be taking a look at the two different types of culture. The first being material culture. Material culture is all the physical objects created by humans to fulfill their needs, which includes the comfort, luxury, the purpose of lives, and it is going to reflect the entire framework of human civilization in general, right? So everything that is there that is materialistic, that includes physical tangible objects that have been created, used or valued, all of these are a part of material culture, right? It can be in relevance to technology, in relevance to economy, and reference to the way of life. Example can be the buildings, the architecture, the clothing, jewelry, art, sculptures, currency, food, utensils, clothing and jewelry, everything tangible that is there created by humans as a part of society is a part of material culture, right? So the key trait is that it is tangible. You can see these things, you can touch these things, and it is the one which reflects the society's level of technology at the time. And additionally, since these are all material things, they all can be preserved as well in the museum. So whatever you see in the museums from previous cultures, they all are a part of material section of culture. So applause, sari, smartphone, diya, these are a few examples, but as you can see, it also reflects the kind of technology, the advancement of technology, the advancement of understanding. Everything is understood in these material cultural parts. Then there is a non-material part as well. Non-material part includes all the intangible aspects. Now, what kind of intangible aspects are going to be there? They can be beliefs, values, norms, customs, traditions, language, and morals. Everything that is an idea, that is a belief, that is a growth of the society, that is a part of the non-material aspect of culture, right? So these elements are the ones which shape the social behavior. They give meaning to the material world, whatever materialistic part of culture is. The meaning to that is given by this non-material culture, where the guidance towards how the people were feeling at the time, what kind of interaction was there in the society at the time, what were people thinking at the time, what were people believing in the time. That is what the non-material aspect of culture is going to bring. So how they think, how they communicate, how they behave, everything is a part of non-material. So all the religious beliefs, the moral beliefs, the honesty, respect and guidance, the language and communication, the traditions, the rituals which were there for weddings, for ceremonies, for festivals, the laws of that particular time, the music, folklores, myths, everything is a part of the non-material parts. Like greeting with namaste, that is a part, that is a value, moral value. Belief in karma and rebirth, okay, that is all the myths and folklores and traditions and rituals. The language and dialects at the different times, superstitions, the myths. So all of these are a few examples of all the things that are a part of the non-material culture, where the key traits are: one, it is intangible; second, it is passed down through socialization, that is word of mouth, through people, through understanding; and thirdly, it shapes the behavior, the identity, and the views of the people of society. Right? So we have seen the difference of material and non-material culture, where material affects the lifestyle, the surroundings, and can be stored. Non-material affects the identity, the behavior, and it is passed down generation to generation through teachings as well as imitation. Right? And definitely both the two are interconnected. They are not two separate entities. Right? Before we proceed in this topic further, I would like to introduce you to the Anthropology Optional course, which has been launched by Anthroholic. It is completely dedicated to Anthropology Optional paper for UPSC IAS, where all the topics have been covered as micro topics as well as live classes. There are video courses, test series, daily answer writing practice which is going to be there. You'll be also provided ebooks, notes, study materials, articles, research papers inclusive. There's a WhatsApp group that you are going to be a part of, where 24/7 assistance is going to be provided for any or all of your doubts which are there. Additionally, free YouTube videos like the one that we have, a summed up video, is definitely going to be uploaded as well. For further information, for more videos, for more understanding, you can visit to the link which is in the description below. Additionally, you can download the Anthroholic app for the holistic anthropology optional preparation. Right? You can get it on Google Play Store, where all the material, all the papers, the sample papers, the answer practice, the material, everything is going to be provided over there, and live classes are also on this particular app. So you can download Anthroholic app from Google Play Store. Proceeding to our topic, we are now going to look at towards the characteristics of culture. Now, culture has certain characteristics, multiple characteristics, of which some are: one, culture is learned. It is acquired through socialization. It is passed down from generation to generation. It is not a biological inheritance that is there. It is not transferred biologically. It is learned from the society, from family, from peers, from school, media, society, like how a child learns the manners and customs from the environment it is living in. It learns the language from the environment it is living in. It is not born with the language. It is not born with manners, not born with customs. They learn from where they are living. So that is, culture is learned. Second, culture is social. It is shared within a group and maintained through the social relationships as a society. As a group of people, they preserve it and pass it down. It creates a sense of belonging and a common identity among people. Then culture is inculcated. It is deeply internalized through family, through school, or religion. That is, when people keep reinforcing those values to you, it enters as internalized values. So it is inculcated through agents around you. Then culture is adaptive because it keeps changing. Now the current value system that we have, it must not be exactly word to word same about decades back. No, it keeps changing with environment, with society, with conditions, as respect to how the survival is required, because it keeps changing towards how difficulty or easy the survival instinct is. And then culture is structured. It is a system of interconnected elements, that is kinship, economy, everything is interconnected with culture, so that a social order is maintained. So it has adaptiveness also, and it has interconnectedness and cumulativeness in it also. Right? Then, what is the uniqueness of culture to humans? Now, E.B. Tylor, in his book Primitive Culture, defined culture that complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, law, morals, and all other capabilities and habits which are acquired by man as a member of society. Now, since it is uniquely human, this concept is uniquely to human, no other species are there who have this depth and width of understanding of culture, of knowledge, beliefs, behavior, whatever. So while some animals they have certain learning, the full-fledged understanding of culture is only and only with humans. This is holistic to us. It is as that developed level with us. So in his book, he says, E.B. Tyler says that this includes everything acquired by man as a member of society that he or she is living in. And 𝗪𝗀, he defined culture as a man-made part of the environment. Definitely, because not everyone has it, not all species have it. They have it in some parts, but not as depth as we have, like where we have symbolic thought, we are passing down from generation to generation, we are showing creativity in that, we have morals, we have ethics, we have technology, music, and various cultural forms which are used to define our identity and used as self-reflective as well. Now, there are some animals who show basic form of social learning or using of tools like dolphins or birds, but they are not as developed into culture as we are, because animal behaviors are mostly instinctual. They run on instincts limited to simple imitation, but not a true culture. So that is why it is unique to human beings. Now, what are the characteristics that make culture unique to human beings? Why is it that it is unique to human beings? So, Leslie White in Evolution of Culture mentioned that there are 5 characteristics of a man which help understand why culture has been made possible by a human being but not by other animals or any other species. So first is the gesture. We have erect gesture. We have started standing up rather than walking on 4 of our legs. We have started walking on 2 of our legs. So we have freed our hands, which are free for locomotion, and when it's free for locomotion, it's free for movement, we are into building other things, right? That is how we are building any artistic thing, any art form which includes a language, which includes um, the sculptures, which includes music, anything, because our hands are freed up. Then hand with opposable thumbs. The human hand, especially the thumb's ability to oppose other fingers. This has given us fine motor control. And this motor control has helped us create a lot of things. Right? So motor skills, which are because of the opposable thumb that we have, definitely that is there as a part. Then large and complex brain. Humans have highly developed brain, particularly the neocortex, which is responsible for abstract thinking and reasoning. So because of this large and complex brain, we are able to think in that way. We are able to bring complexity in our life and understand that complexity. Then vocal speech, language ability. So we have developed our vocal expression, we have developed languages, we have cognitive capacity, and we also have biological capacity for vocal speech, to speak multiple sounds and words, unlike other animals who have very limited expression. So language or vocal speech has been a prominent factor. Then prolonged infant dependency, that is extended childhood. Human infants, yani babies, they have long period of helplessness and learning compared to other animals. Other animals, they have say a year at max, where they are nurtured by their parents and then they are let go of to live on their own. Whereas humans, we have prolonged that dependency of infants to a longer time, and the longer the infants or babies are living with their parents in a form of helplessness and dependency, the more they are learning and the more they are forming a society, they are learning the culture, they are learning the values of the culture. So the more prolonged the dependency is, the prolonged their learning has become compared to other animals where they do not have the dependency for that long of a duration, right? So the infant dependency is one of the contributing factors as well. With this, we wind up our segment on the nature of culture. I hope this segment has been helpful to all of you and this video has helped you understand the topic better. You can connect with us on Telegram or Instagram. You can also connect with us on our WhatsApp number. Additionally, you can download Anthroholic app for more details on the course as well as study material. See you in the next video. Till then, have a good day.